Well, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I just try to keep everybody up to date on my gear. At least the ones that most people would have this, day, or the other, and talk to you about failures. Now, this is the Spyderco Sharpmaker. It comes with 2 stones, 2 fine, 2 coarse, and of course does 2 different angles. It does a 40-degree angle and a 30-degree angle, which equates to a 20-degree edge bevel and a 15-degree edge bevel. I mainly use the 15 most of the time, but I just want to talk to you about a failure that I had. And this isn't reflective. This isn't saying that, oh my God, don't buy this product. In fact, this is a very good product, but I use it for sharpening, you know, big knives. I'll give you an example. This is the Becker BK9 from Kabar. This is the only Becker that I have made by Kabar, and it's got a long blade on it. And when you're sharpening those long blades, you know, you sometimes have problems. It's going to be very hard, you know, when you're pressing on it. And sometimes I probably press too much. I'm lefty, so it's just the way it is. But the plastic gave way. You can see right there. So what happens is when I'm sharpening it, and has it all the way failed? No. On the 40-degree side, it's also cracked through there. I mean, it's not, these things do fail. But for 56 bucks, it's a really good sharpener. It's the one I use. And what did I do? Of course, I just bought another one. My ceramic rods, of course, have seen, you know, better days. The edges aren't quite edgy anymore. They're becoming more flat, which is fine with me. I wash it with one of those Scotch-Brite pads, and or you can use Comet, or you can use whatever to clean the stuff out of it. I do it that way just because I'm lazy and I don't want to put in the time. So, you know, basically 50-some bucks. I just ordered another one. Of course, for my Scandi grinds and a lot of my grinds, I use the the Sharpening system. People have seen that. This is the 500 grit. Of course, got 1,000, a 4,000, and you know, all that crap. And then one to keep them true, because these things wear. And of course, these are ceramic on glass. These things do wear, and you have to have something to keep them true, so your edge will be true. And that's just the way it works. You can get there are different setups. There are full wet stones that you have to keep wet all the time. These you don't. Rock and rolls, okay? I didn't mean to start this video out being about knife sharpeners. Of course, this is a crock stick set. You know, this is the old crock stick set from Lansky. They probably don't make these things well anymore. All the reviews that I keep seeing of them is just that they're terrible. And they don't make them this way anymore. You can see it's all yellow paper, and it's old, but it works. Instead of buying the Lansky setup, I would definitely go with the Spyderco setup, because it has the brass rods that protect your hand, and I just like it. Even though I have broken one of them, it was probably my fault. I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know, they may be warranted. You know, maybe warranted by Spyderco. I have no earthly idea. I may get in touch with them and find out. But it's given me years and years and years of service, and I like to take my knives and actually basically correct the edge on them. I don't really like the 40-degree. I like the 30-degree better, of course, because I like a little more edge on them, and it just cuts a little bit better for me. Of course, it's going to be a slightly bit more delicate edge, but I'll show you another one that I haven't had any problem with. This Ontario RTAC. Of course, this is the one that I made the video about years ago about getting 2 of them, and one of them was defective because it was ground too thin. And that may have been the problem with some of the people breaking these things. as you can see, it's got a pretty good edge on it on that side, and this side I'm still kind of working on it, but it goes but I haven't quite got it there yet. It's sharpening up here, and it hasn't gotten quite to the edge on this side just because of a manufacturing defect. And it's not like that's the only knife. In fact, that's the normal. I mean, I normally have knives that aren't exactly ground perfect. If I find a knife that's ground perfect, my God, I'm going to fall back and just die. You know, this is a Ontario Rat 7. You can sit there and see that the RTAC and the Rat 7 totally different finishes. This is a thicker epoxy finish, and this is more of a just let me get the bottle out, because right now that's the one thing about being it's just a Parkerized finish, and of course I get my Parkerized finish from Durcoat, their products, man. Like Parkerized things, man. Of course I did not Parkerize this. This came this way with the G10 scales, this there, the other. Have I modified the G10 scales on these knives? Probably just a little bit. Be careful. Wear a respirator when you do it. You're creating small particulate stuff. And did I round it off? Probably did. And then right now I'm also working on the a Rat 5. And these are older production knives. I've had these for years. I've shown them on probably the other channel for, you know, a few times. But my Sharpmaker pretty much, I'm going to continue to use it until it gives up its ghost, but I've got another one on the way. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on things that actually do happen. I mean, and the edge, if you, as I said, if you ever come up with a perfectly ground edge on a knife that's affordable, by affordable I mean, I don't know, under a couple $100, I'll just, you know, I'll probably die and fall back in it. If you found it under $100, I swear to God, I'd probably eat it, you know, grind it up and put it in some cereal or something. I don't know, but see, that would be a fluke, just like anything else. As much of a fluke as somebody messing up, but messing up's a lot easier when you're trying to make production on a knife. And as I said, this is not abnormal. I've got knives that go up in the hundreds of dollars and sometimes thousands of dollars that I've had to correct the edge on because it wasn't a consistent angle, because they're hand grinding and they're doing this and they're doing that, and the ins and outs of the blades, the more angles there are on them, and I don't know if I've done this one, no I haven't, but I've never found one of these, and I bought a bunch of these back in the day at Sierra Trading Post at a really good price. I wish they still made the things. But, you know, it's a process. It's not just me whining about, you know, the Pathfinder and this, that, or the other. PLSK1, which I really like the knife. If it didn't have that secondary, bevel on it, and this one doesn't have it anymore. I don't have the one that does laying around here anywhere. I would have been a lot happier with it, and it would have taken me a lot less time to sharpen it. Now they got a diamond honing set of these that you have to buy, and they're about $40-some. That if you want to, you know, real quickly reprofile something, and it's probably why these are broken, that you can buy, and they're just it's a diamond. It's a hollow piece of metal with the diamonds coating on it, and it's for taking down metal really quickly. One of the things that I really like about the Sharpmaker, besides the angles and this, there, or the other, it does things like sharpening scissors. I sharpen a lot of scissors for a lot of people for some ungodly reason, just because I wind up and I have this thing, and you can see that that's broken there. I think I just broke that the other day too. But as I said, I've had this thing for a long time, and I think I wound up paying full retail on it when I got it. Another thing you can do with this Sharpmaker, and I didn't mean to make it an advertisement for this thing. In fact, I wanted to make a video about radios but I just didn't get there. You never know what's going to move you. If you want to use it as just a flat block and just kind of strike against it like you would that Sharpening, you can do it that way also. I've really never chosen to do it that way, but it is an option, and it gives me an opportunity to use this system even though this part of it's broken. You know, this might just become my sharpening scissors, and using these things as flat stones, and these are still in great shape. I couldn't see ever really destroying a set of these. You might drop them and break them, but that's about it. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches with the Spyderco Triangle Sharpmaker. Is it the very best sharpening system out there? No. But is it the best for around $50? It's the best one I found. Would I wish this was wooden and you know, made to the same quality and all this, there, the other, like Lansky used to make those, yeah, but it didn't, so we gotta deal with it, you know. Just have a good one. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and some of the trials and tribulations of having knives and dealing with all of this crud, but it's all part of it. If you use it, it's going to break. You can break anything, and that was probably me being a dumbass. But as I said, I've used these things. I've reprofiled more edges, and I didn't even know about the diamond inserts until I was looking for a brand new sharpener. So anyway, it's a process. Have a good one.